When you receive a job offer, never accept it on the spot. And the reason is because companies aren't leading with their best offers. They're expecting a negotiation. And if you've accepted offers in the past and you didn't know that, that's okay. I'm going to teach you. Now, you might be nervous because you don't know how to do it and you don't know what to ask for, but it's very, very simple. Let me break it down for you. Number one, you say, thank you so much. Is this negotiable? And you need to know what you want and what you can ask for ahead of this negotiation. To help you prepare for this conversation, get an Interviewology profile. On page 38, there are 10 questions to ask in a negotiation and when you get an offer. There are lots of things that you can negotiate outside of salary. You can negotiate a better title, a better schedule. You can negotiate more PTO. It's all listed here in addition to discovering your interview style, thank you letter templates, and everything that you need to nail your next job interview. In this competitive market, don't just get to the end of this process and get an offer and mess it up because you accept something that's too low. Hopefully you're going to work at this organization for 2 to 4 years. You're going to be locked into this salary. I want you to get paid what you're worth, and I want you to be happy about this salary. And that never happens if you accept the first offer. 4 signs that you nailed your job interview. Number 4, it was scheduled for an hour but went on for 2 hours. They don't spend extra time with people that they don't like. So almost universally, this is a pretty good sign that at least you're going to get passed on to the next round. But if your interview went really short, if you were scheduled for an hour and only went 20 minutes, that's almost always a bad sign. Number 3, if they ask you any version of a salary requirement, your future plans, or are you actively interviewing, that's almost always a good sign that they're at least going to pass you on to the next round. They don't ask questions like that to people that they aren't considering for a job. But confusingly, this is also just not a good sign either. It could just be part of their interview protocol. So just because they asked you what your salary requirements are doesn't necessarily mean it's a good sign. It means that they are just making sure that you are in the right salary band for the position that they're interviewing for. 2, and I love it when this happens, if you've been scheduled to meet with Mike and Joe and you're having a great interview and one of them stands up and says, you know what, I think Dan's in the office today. Let me go grab him. I want you to meet him while you're here. That is always a good sign. The best way to know if you nailed your job interview is if the interviewer moves from interviewing you to pitching you. If they stop asking you a bunch of interview questions and they move into sales mode and they start talking about the company and the job and why you should work there. But also, you need to take this with a grain of salt because just because you nail a job interview doesn't mean they're going to make you an offer. Just because they introduce you to other people, spend more time with you, and start pitching you doesn't mean that you're going to get the job. You can absolutely nail an interview and not get the offer. It is a very competitive market. They may do this with all the candidates that they like. So whatever you do, don't listen to anything they say. Don't take these buy signs as reasons for you to stop looking for a job. Whatever you do, keep looking for a job until you have a signed offer letter, until you start your new job. Whatever you do, don't stop looking for a job until you have a new job lined up. I hope that helps. For more tips on how to interview better, get an Interviewology profile to discover your interview style, and you can also get my book, Interviewology: The New Science of Interviewing. When you're asked in a job interview, what are you currently making, or what were you paid in your last position, don't panic. Most people get this answer wrong because they simply don't know their rights. I'm going to teach you how to answer this interview question correctly. Did you know that in 22 states in America, we have what are called salary history bans, which makes this interview question illegal? So step number 1 in answering this question is you need to do a little research and find out if your state where you're applying to jobs has made this an illegal question. Let me move over and you take a screenshot here to discover if your state is one of them. This means the prospective employers cannot ask you to provide old pay stubs or tax documents, and they can't get into what you're currently making. Now, most of them know this and they're not going to ask you, but they will almost always ask you, what are your salary expectations? And that is a trickier question. I always say never give one number, always give a range, and I have lots of videos to help you negotiate your job offers. For more tips on how to interview better, get an Interviewology profile. And in it, we have 10 questions to ask when you get an offer to get more money. Follow me, and good luck in your upcoming job search. You're not gonna like what I have to tell you. Your whole act in a job interview of being like so accommodating and just going along and saying yes to whatever they want is backfiring. It is making you less desirable to hiring managers. Here's the thing. We want what we can't have. The less you want something, the more they will want you. So stop with this act in the job interview where you have to say yes to everything and you have to be so easy and so accommodating. Not everyone is interested in that. And in this market, when there are way more applicants than there are openings and the employers have their pick, they don't want people who don't have any other opportunities. They want what they can't have, especially in this market. So in a job interview, make yourself seem scarce. When they say, are you actively interviewing? You say yes, because you are actively interviewing. And if they ask you if you have any other final round interviews coming up, say yes. It is the only answer. Here's a quick, very effective tip to look and feel more confident in job interviews. It all comes down to your body language. I've interviewed over 10,000 people, and a lot of people interview like this. They put their hands in their lap, they often look down, and they come across as, well, you tell me, what impression am I making? Do I look confident? Do I look engaged? Do I look open? Do I look capable? I don't think so. So here you go. Here's what you can do to look and feel more confident. And it's very simple. All you need to do in a job interview is sit up straight and put your hands on the table. Take up space. Have your resume, a notepad in front of you, and use the table. Everyone talks with their hands in a job interview, so don't be afraid to have them on the table and use them to emphasize your points. Because if your hands are in your lap and you talk with your hands, you just look really weird. What are you, shuffling cards under the table? Put your hands on the table and you will look and feel more confident, guaranteed. You receive a job offer, there is only one thing to say. There's only one right thing to do. And I don't care if you've been unemployed, and I know the job market is hard, and you might feel like you feel so lucky that you have an offer that you just want to accept it on the spot. Do not do that. Whatever you do, do not accept a job offer on the spot. And you can trust me. As a previous director of talent acquisition, I know how corporate hiring works, and I have made thousands of job offers. Companies would love it if you accept it on the spot because they always lead with their worst